evening. This is the Chicago Communicated News Media on point. And this evening, our breaking news is that we have Commissioner Frank Avila Sr. on the line, and he is going to talk to us about his water reclamation campaign. And I'd like you to meet the commissioner. He's been in that office since 2002. My husband, my late husband, Morgan Carter, and I worked with him to get him elected to that office in 2002. He has been so committed to the safety of our drinking water, of the pollution of all water. He's just been a dynamite person. And I'd like for him to take just a moment to tell us a little bit about himself. Commissioner, tell us what you need people to know about you and your campaign for our water system.
Thank you, Wanda. I just wanted to mention my name is Frank Avila, and I'm a candidate for the Metropolitan Water Reclamation District of the Greater Chicago. There's 3 6-year terms open, and you can vote for 3 persons for the 6-year term, and there's 1 2-year term.
Okay.
And again, the office is the Metropolitan Water Reclamation District of Greater Chicago. It covers all of Cook County,
Okay. So you're even out here in the south suburbs.
Oh, yes, yes.
Like Thornton. And I have seen some of your work, and I'd like to ask Mr. Jerome. Hi, Jerome, how are you?
I'm okay.
All right, so have you met the commissioner before?
No, I've never met him.
Okay, well, he's done a great job with the water reclamation department. And I'd like to take just a moment to show you just a brief clip of some of the work he's done out here in the south suburbs. So hold on a second. Let's go here and watch this. Okay, let's see. This was what he did out here in the south suburbs some time ago. I thought it was very important that we see this. Him actually out here. Can you hear this? Can you all hear this?
Yes.
Okay. This is what the water commissioner does.
I will be a defender of my planet, united with friends. I will say.
Here's the commissioner.
My name is Commissioner Frank Avila, and I'm giving a tour today with the Southeast Environmental Group, and I took them on a tour of the Thornton Reservoir that's being constructed here in Cook County. And right now we're on a construction site viewing a shaft where they're looking at and they're looking down the shaft where they're seeing how they're building this deep tunnel to connect to the Thornton Reservoir. We have 2 buses, approximately 47 people each on each bus, and we're explaining to them how we're building the Thornton Reservoir for the south side of Cook County. The Metropolitan Water Reclamation District has 7 plants. 3 are considered the largest in North America, and 1 is the largest in the world. And we have taken over stormwater management for all of Cook County except the city of Chicago, and that involves 124 communities.
Hey. Isn't that wonderful, guys? I mean, listen, the commissioner actually goes out in the field and does that. I mean, that's great. Questions? Miss Labette, thank you. Welcome to the show. How are you?
I'm great, thank you. How's everybody?
Oh, we're wonderful. I'm just enjoying just listening to how he works, and he actually goes in the field. What do you say? What do you think about that? Questions.
Now, is Mr. Avila on here now?
Yes, he's on. You can't see him?
Yes, I'm here.
How you doing? It's quite ironic because when you were speaking, and not to just start with a negative, but I've lived in my community for quite a while, and I don't know exactly who just came through here, but And today, as a matter of fact, I said I really need to find out who came and did whatever work they did. I don't know if it was water related, but after they left and after being here 20 years, this is the first time it flooded. Like
Wow.
not in the house, but just right by the alley.
Mhm.
It's never flooded. And I was like, so how do they come and do a repair and then it's left in worse condition than when they started? Do you have any idea how to follow up with something like that?
Well, where do you live on the south side?
No, I live in East Garfield Park.
East Garfield Park. Well, the city of Chicago handles all the flooding in the city of Chicago. The Metropolitan Water Reclamation District handles all the flooding outside of the city of Chicago, and we take care of 125 municipalities. But the city of Chicago, we work with them to see how we could help them solve their water problems. So you would have to call the water department. They're
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh,
Okay.
now see, I didn't know that. Did you look that up?
Well, you know what? That's a chain of command, and so I appreciate the commissioner sharing that information. So I guess
Yes.
my follow up question would be about when so you're pretty much say about the safety of water.
No. See, water. See, the Metropolitan Water Reclamation District of Greater Chicago. We're on the waste side. We're on the bottom side. Here in Cook County or in the city of Chicago, they have what they call the water filtration plant, and the water filtration plant is for drinking purposes.
Okay.
And that's separate. That's city of Chicago, and that's the largest in the world. That is the water filtration plant. We are Metropolitan Water Reclamation District of Greater Chicago. We're the number 1 and number 2 agency in the world. Just think of it, number 1 and number 2. And why do you think that is? Because we treat number 1 and number 2. We treat pee and poop. Number 1 and number 2.
I like that.
Okay, so your day job is going to be that you're going to be a comedian after you.
Well, I'm glad you mentioned that, because laughing is the best medicine.
Yes.
And we've been quarantined for over 2 years.
That's right.
We quarantined for over 2 years, and a lot of people, they need help. And
Yes.
what's the best help that's free? Laughing. And I'm glad you mentioned that about the comedian, because my wife, we're getting off the subject, but I'm glad she mentioned laughing or comedian. My wife, when I was the commissioner at the water rec, the government of India, the state of India, invited the commissioners to go to India to give a workshop on how to maintain and treat wastewater plants.
Okay.
And none of the commissioners wanted to go, but I said, I'll go. And so I brought a couple of our operators over there, and we gave a workshop on how to operate and maintain wastewater plants, because we are the experts. You are living in God's country here in Cook County. We are the experts on how to treat wastewater. And we gave a workshop there in India. They have 1.2 billion people.
Wow.
And they liked it so much, they invited us back the next time, 2017. They liked it so much, they wanted us to do a conference. And we did a conference there in India for 3-4 years. And now we're still doing a conference. And because of that conference in India, Thailand invited us to do a conference in Thailand this year. June 16 to 18. But I cannot go because the election is June 28. And I have to win this election, because I want to serve again as the commissioner of the Metropolitan Water Reclamation District of Greater Chicago. So by me going to India 6 years, Thailand wants to learn all about wastewater. And that's why I go out and give talks here in Cook County.
Okay.
About how we treat wastewater. And when I do, I bring my wife sometimes, because she's a laughing teacher. and at the end of my talk, she'll do a couple of laughing sessions, because why? Laughing is the best medicine, and we need the best medicine to survive if we come up with another virus, because we cannot have another virus.
Oh,
Right,
The
right.
kids are not going to school for 2 years.
right.
They're suffering. They're not learning. And so we have to detect the next virus.
That's right.
why I'm running again.
Come on now.
And so you detect that through testing the water and finding viruses in the water.
Okay, let's say we're on the waste, so we call it wastewater or human waste. You know,
Mhm.
when you get sick, you go to the doctor, and the doctor says, "Okay, I'm going to take a couple of samples." What samples do they take?
Your
Ah,
stool, your urine.
Yes.
Urine
And
Right.
stool. Yeah.
and your stool, right? Urine.
Yes.
What do we treat? We treat urine and stool, right?
Okay.
So we could set up equipment that we're doing now, set up equipment in the sewers and at certain locations, and take samples of them and take it to research, like hospitals or organized laboratory that are doing research to detect the next virus. That's why our agency is one of the most important agencies to detect the next virus.
Wow.
Because our kids cannot afford to be out of school for 2.5 years. That's why you have a lot of crime going on now.
Mhm.
Because people are staying at home. They don't know what to do. They become depressed,
Yeah.
and no one's working, and people go out and do crime.
Yes,
We cannot afford to have that anymore.
no, we can't. We really
So
can't.
we need a policy throughout the United States to how to take the test, how to spread it to the World Health Organization or any health organizations throughout the city of Chicago, Cook County, or to determine and say, look, this is what's coming about. Maybe a next virus, maybe not, but this is what our samples are showing.
So,
That's why I'm running. Wanda.
Commissioner,
there
that's
any-
excellent. Go ahead, Lebet.
So are there any weak links in that policy right now?
Well, right now we have to set up a policy. It just started. We're just starting. So we
Okay.
need a policy so all the wastewater plants throughout the United States and maybe throughout the world will have a policy to determine our next virus. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Wow. Okay. Miss Yo is trying to ask you a question. Let me help her get her video up. Jerome, ask the commissioner a question. I'll be right back.
Hello? You have a question?
Jerome?
No, I had to unmute my phone.
Okay.
Yeah, I have a very important question. I have at my facility in Chicago on the west side, we have an issue with the water. I have 2 toilets, a sink, and a kitchen. And they're charging me by the size of my building. But the point is that because of the issue with I think they said lead in the system, when are they going to fix that? To where
Okay,
we
now,
should-
now the lead now that's dealing with water, with potable water. Well, we're not in charge. That's a water filtration plant. That's the city of Chicago. We're on the waste side. We're on the sewer.
Mhm.
So when you flush your toilet or when you turn on your water and it goes down into the sewers, that's when we take it over. We do not take over any of the lead pipes because that's the water department from the city of Chicago.
Okay. But my question was, are they ever going to, they're saying the reason why they have not given us the meter. So, I mean, is that something that is being talked about or?
Well, they do have a meter problem. I think you just have to call up the water department and say you would like a meter, and they'll come out and install a meter at your facility. No.
Yeah, well,
But
it's been
but-
5
but
years.
Yeah, that's the water. That's the top end. That's the drinking water. That we're the bottom end.
Okay, I see.
You
Okay,
understand, Jerome? You see, I'm glad that he's clarifying for us how the water reclamation district differs from
Yeah,
Chicago Water Department. I had no idea.
I did.
I thought
too.
it was one big, system. I didn't
Yeah.
know that they were
Yeah.
two separate systems.
Right.
Well, I'm glad we're having this discussion now because a lot of people in the Cook County area, that's what they think because of our name, Metropolitan Water Reclamation District of Greater Chicago. It's water, so they think it's the potable water, the drinking water. It's a
Right.
water filtration plant, but that's not us. We're the Water Reclamation District of Greater Chicago. It covers all of Cook County. It has 7 wastewater plants.
Okay.
3 are considered the largest in North America. 1 is the largest in the world.
Wow.
That's Stickney, largest. Think of it. No one knows that we're living in God's country, that we have these kind of facilities. 1 is the largest in the world.
Wow.
That video that you showed at the
Yes.
beginning of the session, we're at Thornton, that Thornton Reservoir. Well, Thornton is the largest reservoir in the world.
Wow.
And we have 2 large reservoirs in the world. We have McCook on the southwest side and Thornton on the south side. These are the largest reservoirs in the world. So we have what? The largest wastewater plant in the world, the largest reservoirs in the world. The Water Reclamation District is very big. It's a $1.2 billion budget every year. And
Whoa.
as I mentioned, we're living in God's country. And the reason why I say God's country, because what do we have on the east side? Lake Michigan.
Yes.
Yeah.
We do not have any problem in finding our water supply. And that's one of the mission that the Water Reclamation District does, is to protect our water supply, Lake Michigan.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
This is we're living in God's country. We have good black dirt. The Midwest is known for the
Exactly.
crops that we grow.
That's
We got
right.
the water, and we
That's
got
right.
plants. We got an agency that treat your human waste. Just think if we didn't have these agencies to treat your human waste, we would have
Right.
a big pile of something here in Cook County.
Oh, yes, yes, yes. Because they don't have, is there water reclamation in countries like Angola or I mean, do they have any kind of
India?
Some country may or may not. Some countries
Okay.
may have wastewater plants or not. And what I like
Mumbai?
is I like to go out and educate the kids in Cook County,
Yeah.
educates the adult on
That'll
what
work.
we do for the environment, because what we do here in treating wastewater here in Cook County, and when we discharge that through our plant, when I mentioned that we treat number 1 and number 2, okay?
Right.
When we treat number 1, we don't call it number 1 or P. We call it effluent. After we
Effluent?
treat it, effluent. So we'll discharge the effluent from our plants into the Chicago Sanitary and Ship Canal.
Ah.
And then, or else on the south side, we have the
Mhm.
Calumet plant, and they'll discharge that into the Cal-Sag channel. And when we discharge the effluent, remember I said that we don't call it treated P, we call it effluent. So
Okay.
when we call it effluent, we discharge that into our 2 channels, the Chicago Sanitary and Ship Canal and the Cal-Sag channel, and it goes southwest to Lockport where it meets, and it discharges that into the Des Plaines River.
Oh.
From the Des Plaines River, it goes into the Illinois River. From the Illinois River, it goes into the Mississippi, and from the Mississippi, it goes all the way down to the Gulf of Mexico. So
Whoa.
what we do here, how we treat human waste here, will have an effect all the way down to the Gulf of Mexico.
Oh my goodness.
Look at that.
My.
And one that very few people know about where it goes.
Right.
On the effluent side, on the number 1 side.
Okay. Okay.
And,
Okay.
and then on the number 2 side, okay, we don't
Yeah.
call it poop. We call it biosolids.
Biosolids. Oh.
Yeah, biosolids. And we treat, after it's treated number 2, we call it biosolids, and we give it to the farmers for fertilizer.
Look at
Boom.
that.
Now,
Ooh,
now, what did the farmers do in the 18th century, the 17th, the 16th? What kind of fertilizer were they using?
Yeah.
uh-oh, Levant
Human
got a
waste. I
hand
mean,
up.
animal waste.
Right? Right,
Animal
horse
waste.
manure. That was their
Yeah.
here.
Yeah.
We turn your number 2 into fertilizer, and we call it biosolids, and we give it to the farmers to grow their crops, and the farmers yield more per acre using your fertilizer because it keeps the ground more moist and provide more nutrients in this fertilizer. Also,
Yeah.
So it's true that we are what we
anyone
eat.
out there
We are
wants-
what
Yes.
we eat.
anyone out there that wants compost, now spring is coming, summer is here. People will go to Home Depot or other Ace Hardware store to go buy compost. Well, the district gives it out free.
Oh, did you know that, y'all?
No.
Contact, go on the website, their website, put in compost, and they'll find all the locations where to get free compost. Excellent compost. Yeah.
All
Last
right.
question.
We got a question from our reporter, Miss Levette Limo.
Now,
Michelle,
go ahead, yeah, Miss Young.
Miss
Go
Yo,
ahead,
you had a
Miss Young.
question?
Yeah, I'd like to make a really on the compost. And what was that made of? Because I know they're doing a lot of tiny houses with it, so I was interested. And here's the other thing about the you let me know that I'm interested in the pipes. I'm talking about the drinking water. You said call the water.
Yeah, in the
But
city
we
of Chicago,
have,
you
like,
call the
you know-
water department. Yeah.
Yeah, but like Flint, Michigan, I mean, this is a long time. Are they going to replace pipes? Because Dalton, Dixmoor, Markham for sure, they having trouble, and Harvey with water. And it's the pipes. My mind said water reclamation can contact them.
No.
The pipes there though, they're sick. They're not getting water.
I know. As I mentioned, you're talking about drinking water, potable water,
Right.
And lead pipes is where the water goes through. That's not what we do.
Right. I understand that, but I know they need to be like replaced.
Oh yes,
So
yes.
where do we?
Right.
Is there any way that all of us? Because it's a problem. I don't want to end up like Flint, Michigan, because they can't drink the brown water now, and ours will be the same if they're not replaced. What can we do as it's not a south, or is it a south side problem?
No,
Because
I mean,
know it's in Dixmoor, but it's in Cook
County. Now, as again, that's not part of our mission on the lead pipes, because that is the water department of each suburban that you belong to will go out. I don't know what kind of program they have, but the lead pipes go through the drinking water site. We're on the bottom end because our waste comes out of the house, not inside the house. The water that you're talking about is for drinking purposes that goes in the house. That's not us. That's the water department. Ours is coming out of the house. When you flush that toilet and it comes out, that's what we do. We do number 1 and number 2.
All right. And the first thing to be tested for is the lead that we have consumed. So to stay ahead of that, because otherwise you get the waste, you can test all of it for lead. It's about getting to that point. So who do you approach now so you won't have to test that coming out?
Ms. Yo, he said call the Department of Water.
Water, yes.
Did you understand?
Yeah, you have to call water.
I'm just saying that they all relate to each other.
Yes.
So
yes.
I will get the water, but you can put that test in it, because when the lead starts coming out of the human waste more so than before, you know what to attribute that to as a resolve.
Yeah, I understand what you're talking about.
All right.
Yes.
Okay. That's just
all right. Thank you, Commissioner. I appreciate that response. Ms. Lebet, you had a question for the Commissioner?
Yes, it's almost on a follow-up with Ms. Yo. I like the persistence of that question, because when you talk about testing the number one and number two,
Yes.
is there a test that identifies everything that is in it? Because if you say that you're testing the number one and number two to see if they're viruses,
Yes.
and then you say that the waste is given to farmers, I'm wondering if that's attributed to the E. coli that's found in found in some of the vegetables that are grown when they have the recalls. So it seems as though there may be a disconnect with the city and water reclamation if they continue to say, well, we do this part of the water, and the city says, well, we do this part of the water. And the thing is that it's the residents that really need both ends to collaborate, so that if there's true follow-up, then they need to be having conversations with each other.
Well, on
Excellent.
the E. coli side, we make sure that when we treat the wastewater, we meet that the E. coli falls way below the limit on the E. coli side. So when we test for the E. coli and the biosolids, it's below the limit. And what she's talking about, the E. coli, that you find E. coli, and that's why they shut down the beaches, because the E. coli is too high. But when we come in and treat it, we treat where the E. coli is below the limit. But what we cannot treat, this is what we cannot treat going to our wastewater plant. We cannot treat prescription drugs.
Oh, wow. I know.
And that's why there's a program or information out there saying not to flush your unused prescription drugs down the toilet.
Okay.
Not to do
Really?
Yes, yeah, because we cannot treat prescription drugs. But if you don't dispose of it, unused prescription drugs down the toilet, when you eliminate yourself, it goes out into our system, and we cannot treat it.
So can you detect how high the content is?
Oh yeah, sure. And that's why my wife starts that laughing program, because the best medicine is what? Laughing.
Laughing.
Stay healthy. And that's why she goes out and gives talks about health, about buying organic food, about staying healthy.
Have her.
And it was a big struggle in the last 2 years for people to stay healthy. They get depressed, they're home, they don't know what to do. It was a big problem, Wanda.
Yeah.
And that's why my wife, she belongs with laughing groups throughout the whole world.
Yeah. Oh, that's excellent.
They have Zoom
Nice.
laughing programs from morning to night. You could look up laughter yoga
Yes.
and find a laughing session to laugh with during the daytime.
You know what?
I've actually seen that.
I need to start laughing now.